Hi listeners, Let's Learn Sumo. I'm Clayton. Welcome to the podcast. Don't forget to join me on Instagram or X or YouTube at Let's Learn Sumo. Here we are at Nakabi, which is day 8 of the tournament, halfway. 2 hours of commentary on Sunday morning sumo on YouTube this evening. It was a good night. Well, the leading pack is cruising along, but of course Onosato, our Ozeki in the Tsunotori position, he is eligible to be promoted to Yokozuna if he wins the Basho or comes a very close second. He must be favourite at the halfway point of this tournament with an easy Oshidashi win over Hiradumi tonight. That gave him 8 wins and the sole lead. He just had a stable base, a calm movement, and Oshidashi for miles as Hiradumi just couldn't get anything started, went backwards over the bails. Day 7, yesterday, Onosato faced Takerufuji, the big driver. Takerufuji drove hard out of the tachiai. Onosato went backwards, but he got a hand on the shoulder and upper chest of Takerufuji and executed what I thought was a Sukiyanage throw, but the Shimpans called it a Hataki Komi slap down. So that got him his 7th win. So Onosato is 8 wins, no losses. He's now the sole leader, as I said. Behind him, Wakataka Kage. He dealt with Oho tonight fairly easily. Oho tried a retreating pull on the back of Wakataka Kage's head, but couldn't make it work. Wakataka Kage then grabbed him around the body and pretty much rugby drove him back and over the bails into the alley. Yori Tayoshi frontal force down was the call. Wakataka Kage negated the thrusting of Daisho last night. It was a really good effect. He took a Nodowa to the throat, bit of thrusting. He just charged forward through the Sapari storm to drive Daisho back and out. That left Wakataka Kage 7-1. Daisho 6-2. Remember, he's looking for 13 wins to try and push his Ozeki claims. Daisho faced Kirishima tonight after his 2 losses on the trot. Kirishima was hit by the Sapari storm, kind of caught him by surprise, had nothing really in return, was forced straight back to the bails and went over. Look, a little bit pedestrian by Kirishima there. I would have expected him to have a backup plan. Anyway, after a good win over Arby on day 7, Kirishima, he resisted the Nodowa yesterday. He's now 5-3, probably out of the running with 3 losses. Ozeki Korizakura, he used a bit of patience himself tonight against Tamawashi. Good win as they locked up arms and resisted any real belt grip between them. They kind of held elbows for a bit. Tamawashi then tried to get inside and allowed Korizakura to get his own grip, got a double belt and drove Tamawashi back and over. Day 7 was not as good for Ozeki. Korizakura fired up Goniyama, come out of the tachiai fast and hard, drove Korizakura back and out like he was a bit of a bit player in Juryo, to be honest. It was a pretty poor loss. Korizakura, he sits on 5-3. Look, he's still looking good for his Kachikoshi, but he won't figure in the running, I wouldn't have thought. Hakuo Oho, he's in the leading pack. He took a loss to give Onosato that 1 win lead tonight after a good defence and an Oshi drive against Ichi Yamamoto on day 7. Hakuo Oho couldn't follow it up with the brawler Meisei tonight. Big, strong tachiai by Meisei as he forced Hakuo Oho back. Hakuo Oho then fired an arm in around, tried to get onto the body of Meisei, looking for the belt, but Meisei was super fast, locked up that arm, rotated his body with Hakuo Oho's arm around him. Kotanage at the bails, Hakuo Oho went down. However, it's still doing fine, 7-1. Meisei doing okay, 5-3. He got a pretty good belt drive out over a win over Shodai on day 7. Ukrainian Ayonishiki, he's in the leading pack, 7-1 as well. He easily got the belt and drove Endo out. Super balanced, super still body movement, very impressive. Against Tobizaru, however, tonight he got into a real arm-throwing battle as he tried to keep Ayonishiki away from him. Tobizaru did not want to get into the belt. Ayonishiki tried a slap down, but Tobizaru escaped. He tried a brutal Nodowa at the bails and really bent Tobizaru backwards, but he stayed in, but he was off balance. He stepped forward. He was in the wrong position. Ayanishiki then got a hand on the back of Tobizaru's belt and absolutely yeeted him into the fourth row of the crowd. Okuridashi rear thrust out win. Ayanishiki, he's only lost to Kimbazan on day 1. Expect him to start facing the Sanyako on day 10. He gets a bit of an easy one tomorrow, day 9, against Chiyoshima, who's 2-6. Asakoryu, he's doing pretty fine at the bottom. He's 6-2 down the bottom of the Banzuke. Cheeky Henker against Sadanumi tonight. Got him into a position for an easy Oshi drive. Other fights tonight, Yokozuna Hoshoryu. Hirodumi tried a Henker on him last night, but he caught it, grabbed Hirodumi's arm, pulled him down and around, caught Tanage at the bails. Tonight, the Yokozuna faced the very dangerous Takeda Fuji. Takeda Fuji also pulled a Henker to the right, but again, Hoshoryu caught it, came back up on his feet. Takeda Fuji, he looked like a deer in the headlights because he just did not have a backup plan, and he had a very angry Hoshoryu in front of him. Hoshoryu got to grips, hauled Takeda Fuji over to the bails. They both went over, sprawling at the bails. Hoshoryu had his arm. Takeda Fuji went sprawling and airborne and touched his foot out first. Hoshoryu took a rather large stack of envelopes for his trouble. Hoshoryu is 2 wins behind Onosato, so his fate is not really in his hands for this Basho, with a few others in front of him. I think for Hoshoryu, his goal will probably be just to win every match from here for a 13-2. Whether that gets a win or not is not in his control. It would be a very low pass grade for him to get 13-2. I don't think the JSA is enjoying giving away Kimboshi because they have to pay out every time he does that. Wakamoto Haru, he faced Goniyama tonight. He's needing a win at 2-5. Goniyama, again, he tried a Hataki Komi, couldn't make it work, paid the price. Wakamoto Haru recovered his feet and drove Goniyama out, replaying what Goniyama did to Kotozakura. Bit of sadness for Goniyama there, 1 win so far. Abi, he beat I wouldn't say slow-moving Takayasu, but Takayasu retreated under Nodowa pressure and then tried to go lateral around the ring, ran out of room. Tobizaru, I mentioned him earlier. He faced Ura on day 7. It is worthy of mention. Ura went in and they both tried to keep each other at arm's length. Ura went in for an inside belt grip. Tobizaru got the other side, but he couldn't get the second grip. They locked up as they try hip movements. Ura pulled back hard, got a hand on the back of Tobizaru's head and a hand on his belt, pulled Tobizaru around and down, shitatta dashinage, underarm belt throw. Look, a little bit of orthodox sumo there from Ura, and it was, reasonably impressive. I think he's got more to offer there. However, Ura tonight against Onokatsu, I think he was half and half about which style he wanted to play tonight because it didn't work, and he was a little bit all at sea. Yorakiri was a result as Onokatsu got onto the belt and Ura falls to 2-6. So, leading pack, Onosato, 8 wins. 7 wins, Wakataka Kage, Hako Oho, Ayanishiki. 6 wins, probably out of it, but still there, Hoshoryu, Daisho, Kimbozan, Roga, surprisingly, who got a good win tonight, Asakoryu. 5 wins, Kotozakura, Kirishima, Oshoma, Meisei, Endo, Atami Fuji, and Sadanumi, and following up is Nishikigi, who's having a pretty good first week. 4 wins, Abi, Ichiyamamoto, Tobizaru, Onokatsu, Takanosho, Ryuden, and KO the Big Yellow Circle. 3 wins, and in a little bit of strife here, Wakamoto Haru, Oho, who the wheels have fallen off, Hirodumi, Takeda Fuji, the wheels have fallen off there as well, Shodai, Toki Hayate, and Shorinumi. 2 wins, and in deep, deep trouble, Takayasu, Tamawashi, Ura, Chiyoshima, and Koroshoho, who's returned from Kyujo. 1 win, and on wood, Goniyama, Churanumi, Shishi. And the only winless so far is, unfortunately, Midori Fuji, who lost tonight. So tomorrow night, Hoshoryu will face Ichiyamamoto. Onosato will face Ura. That should be a good match. Kotozakura will face Takayasu. Daisho will face Tamawashi. Kirishima will face Takeda Fuji, who's probably looking for a bit of confidence. Abi will have Wakataka Kage. That'll be interesting to see how Waka deals with the big neck Nodowa. Oho will face Wakamoto Haru. Aonishiki has Chiyoshima. That's it for day 8, folks. 2 hours of commentary has done me in for the evening, so I will call that a day. Hope you had time to catch the commentary tonight. It was a good fun with Goose. We'll see you next time. Hakioi. Let's learn sumo.